So in today's class, we are going to start a new chapter, that is chapter number 12, depreciation. Okay. So firstly, let's understand the meaning of depreciation. What is depreciation? Then second thing, if we know what is depreciation, then why we have to study about depreciation. That is important. Then we will move to the question that what is the thing that we have to study in this chapter. Okay. So firstly, let's understand the meaning of depreciation. Now see what happens normally if you buy any particular asset, right? So it doesn't matter whether you use that particular asset or you are not using that asset. The value of that asset will decrease. Like let's suppose you purchase a smartphone for 12,000, and what happened that you bought it today and you did something wrong at your home. And your mother submitted or your father or your parents submitted your phone, and they said that you will use that phone only after your 11th exam. New phone, I'm not switching it on. So what we can do, that is submitted. So your phone is taken by your parents. Now after 4 to 5 months after your exam, when you cleared your exam with good marks, now you said that I will not take that phone because in market there are now there is more updated phone and with more extra features, so I need a new phone. So your parents said okay, sell that phone and buy a new one, but we will not give you more than that amount. You have purchased for 12,000 and you can buy within that 12,000. The maximum budget for you is 12,000. Okay, is it clear now? Now at what price you will sell? You can sell it at a price of 12,000. Anybody will buy? Even if you have not used that phone, you cannot sell it at the exact price you purchased. So, due to time, even if you are not using, or due to use, let's suppose you purchase a bike and you are using it for 3 months or 4 months, and after 3 or 4 months if you went to sell that particular bike, so you cannot sell that at the exact price you purchased. Right? So due to time or due to use or due to any kind of reason, if the value of asset decreases, and it will decrease, right? That decrease in the value of asset is known as depreciation. It is clear now what is depreciation. Now there are some other terms as well. Like depreciation is one term, there is depletion, obsolescence and amortization. Right? So now see what is obsolescence. Obsolescence is decrease in the value of asset due to technology. Like you purchase iPhone 11 and now let's suppose there is iPhone 12, then the value of iPhone 11 will decrease. Like because of change in the technology, the value decrease, that is also a depreciation, but that is a decrease due to change in technology, so that is also known as obsolescence. Right? No confusion. Now what I said to you that decrease in the value of asset is depreciation. Now we have understood in basic accounting terms chapter that there can be two types of asset. Firstly, see one thing, there can be two types like non-current and current. So current asset are those assets which are convertible to cash within a year. So on those assets there is no point of talking about depreciation, because even after 1 year those assets will be of no use, right? So depreciation is applicable only on long-term assets or non-current assets, you can say, right? But non-current assets are also of two types: tangible asset and intangible. Intangible means those assets which we cannot touch. Intangible we can touch, right? So here depreciation word we use for the decrease in the value of fixed asset, that is tangible asset. Okay, and decrease in the value of intangible asset is known as amortization, right? Decrease in the value of tangible asset is known as depreciation, and decrease in the value of intangible asset is known as amortization. No confusion. So in this chapter we are dealing with depreciation only. That means decrease in the value of tangible asset, that is fixed asset. No confusion. Now it is clear what is the meaning of depreciation. Now let's talk about why we have to study this chapter and what it has to do with our accounting. So if you remember, the objective of accounting is to know the two things. First one is to know the financial performance, and second one is to know the financial position. Financial performance tells us the profit or loss of the business, and financial position tells us the asset and liability of the business. No doubt? Okay. Now see one thing, if the value of asset is decreased, let's suppose by 5,000, so that is a kind of loss. If you ignore the depreciation, means you are ignoring that 5,000 of loss, which will affect your net profit or net loss. Means if we are not recording depreciation, means we are not finding the actual financial performance of our business. That is the one reason why we are doing the accounting for depreciation. Second reason, if you are not recording the depreciation, your balance sheet will not show you the actual financial position of your business. The objective of accounting is to know the financial position, that is asset and liability also. So if you are not deducting that depreciation from that asset will always be shown in your balance sheet at the exact price at which they are purchased. So let's suppose you purchase a building of 5 lakh, and still after 2 years or even after 50 years you are still showing that for 5 lakh. But it has no value of 5 lakh at present time, right? So we can see that if we are not deducting depreciation from asset, our asset will not be shown at exact value. So we can say that our balance sheet is not showing the true financial position at present time. This point is clear now? So that is the reason why we record depreciation or why we do accounting for depreciation. No confusion? Okay. So I told you, so this 2 point is clear, that what is depreciation and why we have to study this chapter. Why we need to consider depreciation in accounting. Okay, we have understood that depreciation is something like decrease in the value of fixed asset or tangible asset. So is there any like tangible asset on which depreciation does not apply? Land only, not building. Land is the only asset on which depreciation is not calculated, but for all other tangible assets we charge depreciation. So I hope it is clear to you what is depreciation and why we have to study depreciation. Now 2 things will come to your mind after this thing. That no doubt sir, we have to study depreciation and we have to do accounting for depreciation. But there are 2 questions. First one, how we can calculate depreciation? Okay, I said that if you purchase a smartphone and after 4 months, 6 months you are going to sell that smartphone. So its value is decreased. How we can determine what is the decrease, what is the exact amount of decrease? How we can estimate that depreciation? So the one problem is how to calculate depreciation. No doubt? Okay. And if we calculated the depreciation, the second thing that will come to your mind is, sir, if we have calculated, now we are knowing what is the amount of depreciation, how we can record that depreciation. Okay. So we have to study 2 things in this chapter. What are the methods of calculating depreciation and what are the methods of recording depreciation. Okay. So actually there are many methods related to calculation of depreciation, but in our syllabus only 2 methods are given. One is straight line method and other one is written down value method. So we have to discuss that how we can calculate depreciation following these two methods. Okay. And after calculation, the second thing will come to our mind is how we can record these depreciation, means how we can do accounting for depreciation. So there are actually two methods, but second method is again divided into two. So we can say that actually we are having three methods of recording depreciation. First one where we have to prepare only asset account. Second one where we have to asset as well as provision for depreciation account. And third one we have to prepare one more account, that is asset disposal. So we will discuss all these methods one by one in upcoming classes. But in today's class we will see the one method of calculating depreciation. Now see what straight line method says is very simple. Let's suppose you purchase a machinery and the value of machinery at the time of purchase was 5 lakh. And you assume that this machinery, the life of that machinery is like 10 years. Right? That means after 10 years this machinery is of no use for us. So we can say that if we divide 5 lakh by 10, we will get a value of 50,000 rupees. This is the depreciation per year. If we deduct 50,000 every year from the cost of machinery, after 10 years the whole 5 lakh will be deducted from that machinery. Right? So the depreciation will be 50,000. But let's suppose if I told you that after 10 years, even if some asset is of no use for you and you save that particular asset in scrap, still you can fetch some money. So that money is known as scrap value, or also known as salvage value. So let's suppose the scrap value is 50,000 rupees. That means after 10 years we can sell that asset for a price of 50,000. So in that case, how will calculate depreciation? Very easy. That means from 5 lakh we can recover 50,000. So no need to take that thing as a part of your depreciation. So 5 lakh minus 50,000 now divided by 10. So it will be 4 lakh 50,000 divided by 10 and value will be 45,000. No confusion. So this method of calculating depreciation is known as straight line method. Okay, right. So what we did, how we calculated depreciation? We took the cost of the asset, then we deducted the scrap value or salvage value, and then we divided it by life of asset or useful life of asset. So now see one thing, in this method, sometimes it can also be given in the question that SLM is 10% per annum. Right? So if it is given in the question that straight depreciation will be calculated as per straight line method and depreciation rate is 10% per annum, means you can directly calculate depreciation. 5 lakhs 10% will be 50,000. Now in this case your depreciation will be 50,000 per annum. No need to calculate this 10% every year. That's why this straight line method is also known as fixed installment method or equal installment method or straight line method. No confusion now? Getting my point? Okay. Now two things. So there are two ways to calculate depreciation as per a straight line method. Either we can use the cost minus the scrap value and divide by useful life to find the depreciation per year. Okay. Or if the rate is given, we can calculate multiplying the rate of depreciation with the cost to find the depreciation. So what we will do, sir, when we have to apply the rate or when we have to go for salvage value method? So see one thing, it depends upon what information is given in the question. If you have given these type of information like cost and useful life, you can apply this formula and calculate depreciation. But if in question you have rate of depreciation, is given that depreciation will be calculated at this way, so you can apply this method. No confusion. Sir, if both things is given in the question, so you will go for that one. No confusion now? Okay. Now in this method, depreciation will not change every year. It will be fixed for all the years of that particular machinery. No confusion now. So I hope this is clear to you how you can calculate depreciation as per straight line method. Now the thing here is, one thing that you need to remember is related to cost. Useful life will be given to quotient. Solvage value if given, then okay. If not given, assume solvage value is 0. It is not there, then it is 0. What about cost? So cost does not only mean purchase price of your asset. When we will study the chapter GAAP, Generally Accepted Accounting Principle, then you will understand that there is a principle known as cost principle, or also known as historical cost concept. So what this concept says, that if you purchase any asset, the value of that particular asset will be the value that you expend on the asset before that particular asset put in the situation of ready to use. Like if you purchase, let's suppose, an AC for 40,000 rupees. Okay, so you cannot bring that AC in your hand at home now. You will go for carriage. So that a kind of transport expense. But we will use carriage word. Normally transportation word is used for long distance coverage. Okay. So let's suppose we purchase a AC for 40,000, and to bring that AC to your home, you paid a carriage of 5,000. 500. 500 is okay. So you purchase a AC for 40,000, and to bring that AC to your home, this was your purchase price, right? And to bring that AC to your home, you paid 500 rupees of carriage. That is a kind of transportation. Now you cannot install that thing by yourself now, or you can then bring that and keep here and we can like switch it on. You have to get that thing installed. So you ask for some electrician to get it installed, right? So some electrician came and he installed that thing. Okay, and for that he took up 500 of, we can say, like installation charge. No confusion. Now that particular AC is in this situation that if we just switch it on and it will start working. No confusion, no? So that is the situation of ready to use. So we have to add up all the expenses related to any particular asset till it has not put in the situation of ready to use. If that asset is in the situation of ready to use, and if you are making any expense, that will not be added to the cost of that particular asset, and that particular expense will actually be treated as expense. Like if you get it repair after 1 year or 1 month, even after 1 week, that will be considered as repair and will not be added to the price. But here we will not say that we purchased an asset of 40,000. We will say that for us the cost of asset is 41,000. Okay, so I hope now you can identify the cost of any particular asset for the purpose of calculating depreciation. One thing that you need to keep in mind, like we purchase any particular asset, right? So we will calculate depreciation similarly. If we calculate it one time, that will be same for all the upcoming years. In the first year and in the last year, depreciation amount can differ, because whatever depreciation we calculated, that is the depreciation for whole year. In the first year, it can be possible that you purchase asset after 6 months. So you will charge depreciation only for the remaining 6 months, right? Same way in the year of sale, you can sell any particular asset only after using 2 months. So in that particular year, you will charge depreciation for 2 months only. That is the only thing that you need to keep in mind. In the first year, and if that asset is sold in the year of sale, that can be changed, and that is very easy. Let's suppose you have calculated 5,000 for a whole year, so 5,000 divided by 12 multiplied by how many months you have used. No confusion. Now let's see what we have understood one method for calculating depreciation. Okay, now we will see the method of recording depreciation. So we are going for the first method where we have to prepare only one account. Everything will be recorded in one account, and that is asset account. Now if we talk about any fixed asset, so in the life of asset there can be three situations. Either you will purchase asset, or you will sell asset, or you will charge depreciation every year. So let's suppose we purchase the asset in first year, we charge the depreciation at the end of year. Next year we purchase another asset, we charge depreciation, and after some year we can sell any asset. So these three can be the maximum possibility related to any asset. But there are two more situations, and that situation are because of sale of asset. Because whenever you will sell any particular asset, whether there can be either profit on sale or there could be loss on sale, right? So these are the maximum possibility for which we need to do that recording part. You have understood? There are two things. One, how to calculate depreciation. Second, how to record depreciation. So these are the maximum possibility for which we need to understand how we can do the accounting part, or how we can record the purchase, record the depreciation charge, or record the sale and profit and loss on sale. Okay, so firstly let's see what will be the general entry in all these cases. If we purchase asset, entry will be, we will get a machinery. So entry will be that machinery or that asset account debit to cash or bank account. We got our asset. If debit what comes in as per real account rule, because machinery is a real in nature, and bank is also real, so credit what goes out, right? If you are charging depreciation, depreciation is a kind of loss, and as per nominal account rule, debit all expenses and losses, we will debit depreciation. Okay, and as you are charging depreciation, your value of asset is decreasing. So decrease is a kind of asset is going out from the business. And as per nominal rule, credit what goes out. So we will credit that machinery or that particular asset. No confusion. And if we are selling the asset, rule is very simple. At the time of purchasing machinery, debit to bank. So at the time of selling, bank account debit to machinery account. No confusion, no? Now one thing, if you sell that asset, let's suppose the value of machinery at that time was 2,000. So either you can sell it for profit or you will sell it for loss. Let's suppose if we sell it for profit, we will get a value, let's suppose 2,100 here. That means now we are having 100 rupees of profit. So that will be credited in profit and loss account. That 100 rupees of profit. Okay, but let's suppose if you are selling it at loss, let's suppose this 2PL is not written. Okay, this 2PL is not written, and we are selling it for 1,800. Now we are having 200 rupees of loss, so that loss is on the debit side. So write on the debit side 200 as profit and loss account debit. No confusion now. So we can say that either there will be 2PL or there will be bi-PL. Right, so at the time of selling, entry will be what? Bank account debit to that particular machinery or asset account, and if we are selling at loss, profit and loss will be debited, but if we are selling at profit, PL will be credited. That means either this PL or that PL will be there in the solution. Okay. But in exam, normally in 90% portion, it will not be asked to give that past journal entry, but they will ask you to prepare that particular asset account. Sir, if we purchase any asset, we will do what? We will write on the debit side as to bank. If we charge depreciation, we will write on the credit side as by depreciation. If we are selling, we will write on the opposite side by bank. And if we are selling at profit on the debit side 2PL, selling at loss on the credit side by bank. That is the only thing. Okay. Now the date of purchase and date of sale depend upon portion and business. They can purchase it in any year and they can sell in any year. But depreciation will be calculated every year and at the end of year. No confusion, huh? So in this chapter we have to do this thing, that a question will be given to you related to purchase of asset and sale of that asset and sale at profit or sale at loss. 4 to 5 years data will be given, and you need to like prepare machinery account while charging depreciation for every year for those 4 years. Is it clear now? So in next class we will see how we can prepare any particular asset account.